I'm Sarah Hashim-Waris for the Los Angeles Times. I'm joined by Jay Sean, who needs no introduction, as you said.
There we go.
International singer-songwriter.
No, I was just trying to make it easier for you, you know. I mean.
All right, we're going to jump right into it. So you're kind of shifting back into the, urban and R&B lane with Neon.
Yes. I mean, there's definitely, beautiful pop songs on there, and my music has always been a bit more a great fusion of pop R&B. I grew up on R&B music, but I have a great pop sensibility, and for me, I felt like I have the ability to marry both worlds. And this album, I feel like I wanted to offer America something that they hadn't really heard on my previous albums. Like a lot of my fans who've known me for the last 10 years have heard songs like Stay and Ride It and Maybe and all these songs which are a lot more on the pop R&B side of things. Whereas, of course, my biggest hits in America came from club anthems and party records, which is great because I do love to party and I love having a great time. But that's just one side of my music, so I'm really excited to be able to give them the other side, a slightly deeper, more mature side.
Right, so that party side isn't completely gone.
Of course not.
You've done a bit of a collaboration with Pauly D.
Yes.
How did that come about?
I love that song. A song called Back to Love. Well, Pauly and I are good friends. We have, we see each other a lot at different events, and he's just a good person, and with good energy. And so when he came up to me and he was telling me about his album situation that he has with 50 Cent, and he was like, yo, do you think, you'd be able to write a song for me and be on the album? I was like, bro, say no more. Let's do this. He's a great guy. So that's the song that came out of it. But again, on that song, I think a lot of people expected a Pauly D and Jay Sean collaboration to be party, 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 hands up in the air, shots, let's get drunk. And I was like, Pauly, let's not do that. Let's write a beautiful, melodic love song over an up-tempo track. And that's what Back to Love is about.
Right, so then back to Neon, if I understand correctly, you recorded the bulk of the album in Miami.
Yeah.
How did the environment kind of play a role in the vibe of the album? It
doesn't, because we're in a dark, black room the whole time. I was saying this yesterday, it's funny because, we're in LA right now and it's just gorgeous, the sun's blazing, but I was in a studio last night, and not even a studio that's on ground level, like in the basement. So it's completely dark, and I was just sitting there, I was like, what's the point of being in such a beautiful place? This could be a dungeon anywhere in the world, But, so sometimes you do have I don't think it really affects your vibe. It's nice when you take breaks, and you can go out and play basketball and, just soak up the sun, and then, you're in a good mood. People are always in a better mood in the sun,
So you've done a couple of Hindi remakes in the past of some of, your famous hits. Can we expect any of those for your South Asian fans out of Neon?
Yeah, I actually just did a Hindi remix of Back to Love, and what I did is I slowed it down and made it into a really beautiful ballad. My fans who know me for like I said, from the beginning, 10 years down the line, they know that I'm a helpless, hopeless romantic. Like for me, I love gushy, beautiful ballads, and I never really got the chance to do that in America. So what I thought was, let's take Back to Love, which is an up-tempo track, and slow it down and turn it into a ballad. And while we're at it, why not put like a little Hindi twist to it? My fans loved it, and I think they had been waiting for something like this for a while.
And then, your whole coming to America thing, you're kind of being seen as a game changer, within the South Asian community and at large, kind of breaking out, someone with an Indian background who's kind of breaking out into the mainstream.
Right.
What sorts of perks come with that? What sorts of pressures come with that title?
Of course. I mean, the perks have been one of the very few, It always blows my mind that we are one of the biggest demographics on planet Earth. There's over 1 billion of us, well over 1 billion of us, and yet there's a handful of us who are in the mainstream doing mainstream music. It continues to blow my mind that I'm one of those privileged people who get to fly the flag for an entire race, one of the biggest races on the planet Earth. So for me, that is not only a perk, and it's a privilege, it's an honor to be able to be someone who can be the face of such a massive population. In terms of pressures, I mean, it's funny, pressure usually has a negative connotation, I feel, associated with it, and I don't feel that. I feel very positive about my position and very positive about the chance I've been given to make an impact for our community and for our people,
Well, do you find that there's, depending on where you are, whether it's in the UK or elsewhere overseas versus America, are audiences more or less receptive in any way?
In England, coming from England, you see you see a brown person, you're like, Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, one or the other. Like, you know, it's just one of those. Right?
Pointing at me as you say that.
I'm just saying, well, both of us, right? And a brown, and you know, that's because it's the biggest immigrant population in England. So of course you know Indians, you know an Indian face. In America, I somehow managed to become like I was like in a melting pot of different possible demographics. I could have been Puerto Rican, Dominican, Italian, Greek, Spanish, anything. So I had people speaking to me in Spanish over here. I had other people speaking to me in Italian, and I'm like, man, I'm from England. Like, I'm Indian. They're like, what do you mean? Like, it's just so confusing for them. So guess what? They didn't judge me on anything else but my music, and that was just quite a beautiful thing.
So then within America, you've lived in a couple of different cities. You used to live in LA, you're in New York now. What are your top like 3 spots in New York that you like to go to that kind of put you in the zone to like make music or, you know, reflect?
Well, in New York, you know, there's my little go-to areas in meatpacking that of course I love. Aben Arthur's is one of them. I love that. I love Catch as well, a place called Catch, which is really great because they do great food. And then afterwards, the top floor turns into a nightclub. You could just have a great evening there, you know? But then there's small little beautiful tucked away. That's the thing about New York. You have these gorgeous little places in Soho and stuff where, you know, other people might not know about them and maybe they only seat like 30 people. But it just has such a great vibe. And I love that area, actually. That Soho area is amazing.
Check out Curry Hill.
You told me about that. Yeah, I'm going to check that. I have to check that out.
Yes, for sure. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Cheers.